Before I start this review, I'm still wondering, what is a face car? Is it face scar or Facecarz? I really don't know. If anyone knows anyone in this band, please tell me what this band's name means and what or how to pronounce it. But yeah, what's up everyone? It's me, Matt from Diazable, and I do music reviews. Thanks for coming on by. Today I am checking out this old album from a Japanese hardcore band called Facecarz. Facecarz, I think that's how you call it. And this album's name is called Statement Game. I discovered this band because I went to Blood Axe Fest last year. I go every year. I like going. It's a hardcore festival in Japan. And this band was on the lineup. And what I've learned about them, they're an older band from like the 2000s that has a bit of a thrashy metal style to them. And it's a little bit up in the air how I feel about this band. Because with this album called Statement Game, I don't know exactly what the statement is here because it is a very chaotic and weird style album here because there's so many different styles here, but overall I just feel like it's not a very cohesive and enjoyable experience. And so I gotta say, this Japanese band seems really intent on experimenting and doing lots of different styles on this album, which, you know, that's always pretty cool and everything, but their eagerness creates a very incohesive, very muddled collection of songs here that are more confusing than compelling. From the very beginning, the album just really like struggles to find its footing. Like on the track Yin Yang, the shifting of guitar styles, erratic drum playing, and just the overall frequent transitions and changes makes the song feel very incoherent and just not a very well-structured song. So here's a clip of Yin Yang for you. It's just a little clunky. The band's attempt to, you know, incorporate a wide variety of styles and techniques into a single track often comes across very jarring and a bit clumsy. And the transitions are very disjointed and just overall poorly executed. It almost feels like the band is still trying to figure out their own individual instruments while creating a song together. So it creates some really awkward timing and just overall lack of cohesion amongst the band members. So I would say the biggest issue with a lot of the tracks and the overall feel of the album is that it lacks flow and continuity. However, I will say that there is some moments on here where, you know, the band is able to find a very distinctive style and stick to it. And, you know, the band sounds tighter and overall just heavier as a result of feeling very cohesive and sticking to one thing. And that is on the song Pull the Plug. It's a very hardcore influenced song, and they're not trying to mix too many styles here. When they stick to one thing, I think the band can do a better job of then, you know, infusing so many different styles into one track. So here's a clip of Pull the Plug. The transitions just seem a lot smoother here. The riffs on this track are a lot smoother and just overall solid and have a really good driving energy to it, while the rhythm section is able to hold things down effectively. And the snare drum in particular, it pops really good on this track, having a nice punchy sound to it, giving it a nice crispy edge. Occasionally the drumming can be a bit offbeat on this song, but they make up for it by, you know, putting some really impressive drum fills that help contribute to the overall track's intensity. I would say one thing that is actually kind of consistent in a good way on this album is the bass playing. From start to finish, the bass sounds really good and just has a really good layering to it, mix, and just a decent play style to it. Like on Dose number 2, the bass is able to keep the band very grounded and keep them on track and keep them from being like too chaotic. It just overall checks the band very nicely by providing a smooth and grounding presence. So here's a clip of Dose 2 for you. That bass is really anchoring the band on the song. Vocally, I think the band is struggling on this album a lot because it seems like there's multiple main vocalists, backing vocalists that, you know, their styles and flow and just overall speaking skills, they just don't mesh that well on the album altogether. On tracks like Vendetta, the roughness of the vocals are particularly noticeable here, so it makes it a very harsh and inconsistent song to listen to, and his vocals really just detract from the overall listening experience. And I feel the vocals range from being, you know, passable to about unpleasant, so it really adds to the overall disarray of the album and its like inconsistencies. Production wise, nothing on here really stands out in terms of being good or bad. There's nothing here to really give the band a really crisp and nice edge, while at the same time there's nothing around here that to like make them sound horrible, or, you know, they're like a little bit like distorted too much or muffled a lot. It's really down the middle. It's like just okay. So with this album Statement Game, I feel like it's a mishmash of ideas that just never really fully come together at the end, and it just feels like too many things going on at once. While there are some moments of groove and solid hardcore playing here, the album's just too inconsistent with overall its play style, different ideas, subpar production at times, and pacing. So you don't really get a very fun listening experience. If anything, it's kind of frustrating. So this album was released back in 2008 when I think social media wasn't as prevalent in Japan and in the world to where, you know, the band could get their sound out there, or, you know, hear other bands and stuff. So they were like probably working with stuff from the 90s and early 2000s and trying to make their own style, which I respect, I understand. But overall, I think because the lack of hearing other bands and other influences, or maybe they heard, no, I think they heard a plenty because there's a lot of different styles on here, but just nothing on here comes together nicely. It's too many ideas that are just all over, or just like vocals that aren't really the best at the time. So, but this is like one of their earlier releases. They still been playing music. They probably have gotten better, but at the time for what this was in 2008, there were other hardcore metal acts that were sounding much better than this, but this was really rough. And so it wasn't, I don't think it is that impactful outside of the Japan hardcore scene, but nothing on here was really too impressive. It just feels very fragmented and just overall unpolished. So I would give this album from Facecarz, Statement Game, to an okay to all right, 6 out of 10. Links down below, check them out. Check out your local scene, check out other international scenes, support hardcore, and like always, see you in the pit.